The call came at 9:30 on a Tuesday morning. Unknown number. I almost let it go to voicemail, but something told me to answer. The woman on the other end was crying. "Your husband owes me $47,000. I didn't hang up. I didn't yell. I asked her one question. "What's your name?" Let me back up 6 years. 6 years to the day, my husband looked me in the eye and said I was too emotional to handle our finances. I have a CPA license. I audit Fortune 500 companies for a living, but according to him, I couldn't be trusted with our checkbook. Want to know what a CPA does when she's called emotional? She keeps receipts, every single one, and when the affair partner calls looking for her money, she listens. Because I had proof he never saw coming. Before we go further, drop a comment. Where are you watching from? Is it coffee time or way past midnight? Hit that like button if you've ever been underestimated. Let me tell you exactly what happened when I stopped trusting and started tracking. We met in grad school. I was finishing my master's in accounting. He was getting his MBA. I worked full-time and put him through his last year. Paid his tuition. Bought his books. Believed in him. When he landed his first corporate job, I was proud. We got married 6 months later. That's when things shifted. He suggested we divide responsibilities. He'd handle the money. I'd handle everything else. "You work so hard," he said. "Let me take this off your plate." It sounded like partnership. It wasn't. Within a year, I couldn't see our mortgage statement. He changed every password. "For security," he said. I audited million-dollar portfolios by day. At home, I wasn't allowed to check our savings balance. Red flag? Absolutely. But I loved him. And I wanted to trust him. My old boss, Eleanor, taught me a rule on my first day. Save everything. Every email. Every PDF. Every receipt. I'd been doing it for years at work. So when he locked me out of our accounts, I started doing it at home too. I kept a shadow folder. Old statements. Screenshots. Anything I could grab before he deleted access. I told myself it was just in case. Just to feel safe. I didn't know those files would become my leverage. I didn't know I'd need them to survive. It was a Thursday night when he called the family meeting. He set a leather binder on the kitchen table, slid it across to me with a smile. "Honey, we need to talk about our financial plan." I opened it. Post-nuptial agreement. 23 pages. The summary was clear. He would have sole control of all accounts, all assets, all decisions. I looked up. "Why?" "You're amazing at what you do," he said. "But you're not wired for numbers. Not the way I am." I stared at him. "I'm a CPA." "Exactly. You're tactical. I'm strategic. And lately your spending has been emotional." He pulled out a credit card statement, highlighted a $12,000 charge. "This is what I'm talking about." That charge was my mother's emergency medical bill. He'd approved it. I stayed calm. "I'd like to have a lawyer review this." His face hardened. "That's exactly the kind of paranoia I'm talking about. This is for us. For our future." He tapped the signature line. "Sign by Friday. Or I'll have to protect our assets another way. I'll file for separation and freeze everything." I noticed his hands. They were shaking. That was the first crack. The first sign he was afraid of something. I had 72 hours. I didn't waste one. That night I tried to log into our joint account. Access denied. I called the bank the next morning. The manager was polite but firm. "We received documentation expressing concerns about your capacity to manage funds. We've restricted your access pending review." "My capacity? What documentation?" "A letter from your therapist." "I've never seen a therapist." I asked for a copy. They couldn't send it without authorization. His authorization. My paycheck hit that afternoon. Normally it went into our joint account. This time it was rerouted. I couldn't see where. I tried my credit card at the pharmacy that evening. Declined. The pharmacist looked at me with pity. My neighbor was 2 people behind me in line. I sat in my car in the parking lot and felt the walls close in. He was 3 steps ahead. The smear campaign. The financial isolation. The fake therapist letter. I was cornered. Or I thought I was. Then I remembered Eleanor's voice. Save everything. I drove home. Opened my laptop. Pulled up my encrypted cloud folder. Years of shadow records, statements, screenshots, transfers. I wasn't lost. I'd just been playing the wrong game. I exported 3 years of bank statements into a spreadsheet. My element. I color-coded every transaction. Green for joint expenses. Red for anything I didn't recognize. The pattern jumped out in under an hour. Monthly transfers. $3,000 to $5,000. Same day every month. Always to the same place. Summit Consulting LLC. I'd never heard of it. I pulled the Nevada Business Registry. Summit Consulting was registered 8 years ago. 2 weeks after our wedding. The registered agent was a mailbox service, a shell company. I cross-referenced the signature on the filing. His total outflow over 3 years? $183,000. I sat back. This wasn't about my emotions. This was about his theft. I screenshot every transfer. I built a timeline. I printed the LLC registration. That was receipt number 1. But I needed more. I needed to know where that money went, and I needed a witness. I didn't expect to get both from the woman who called me crying, but 24 hours later, that's exactly what happened. He didn't wait for my answer. He escalated. My sister called me Saturday morning. Hey, are you okay? Jason called last night. He's really worried about you. Worried how? He said you've been paranoid. Not sleeping. He thinks you might need to talk to someone. He was working my family. Sunday, a courier delivered an envelope. Petition for temporary restraining order. I read the fabricated incidents. Erratic behavior. Volatile outbursts. Paranoid accusations. None of it happened. The petition was denied 2 days later. But the damage was done. My name was on a filing. Monday morning, my boss pulled me into her office. Take whatever time you need. No judgment. We just want you healthy. I realized what he was doing. He was building a paper trail. Emotional instability, incompetence, danger. In a divorce, that trail would bury me. In a conservatorship hearing, it could institutionalize me. I had 48 hours until his deadline. I was isolated. My credibility was shredded. I had no access to money. I was alone. Or so I thought. Then my phone rang. Unknown number, I answered. The woman on the other end said 5 words that changed everything. He told me you were crazy. Her name was Brooke. She was 28. She thought he was single. She was crying. I found the wedding photos last week. On his cloud. I confronted him. He said you were unstable, and he was leaving you, but had to wait for legal reasons. I stayed quiet. Let her talk. He promised me a condo. A car, a life. He said he had family money. That he was setting me up. How much did he give you? $47,000 over 18 months, Venmo. Zelle, cash deposits. He co-signed a lease for me in Brooklyn. Put down first, last, and security. My mouth went dry. Can you send me proof? 10 minutes later, my phone lit up. Screenshots of texts. Him calling me crazy, unstable, a liability. Venmo logs. Payments labeled consulting, loan, gift. Assigned lease. His signature. And the account number for the deposit, our joint account. I traced the routing number. Verified the lease with the landlord's office. It was all real. All traceable. All theft. Brooke agreed to write a statement. She was drowning in debt he created. She wanted out. I had motive, method, and a witness. That was receipt number 2. Now I knew exactly what to do. I didn't sleep that night. I followed the money. Summit Consulting LLC funneled everything into a brokerage account. His name only. Day trading. Options. High-risk penny stocks. He lost $140,000 in 2 years. Almost double my salary. Gone. The Mistress expenses were ego. A midlife crisis he funded with my paycheck. I pulled the Post-nup again. Read the fine print. If I were deemed unable to manage finances due to mental or emotional instability, he would receive 80% of assets in the divorce. I saw the whole picture. Gaslight me. Isolate me. Build the paper trail. Then file. He'd walk away with most of the money. Blame me for the collapse. Restart his life with Brooke. All with money I earned. The Post-nup wasn't protection. It was the exit plan. He wasn't 3 steps ahead. He'd been planning this for years. But he made one miscalculation. He underestimated the woman he called too emotional. Because emotions didn't make me weak. They made me thorough. I picked up my phone. I called a forensic accountant. Then I called a lawyer who specializes in financial abuse. And I didn't say a word to him. I met the forensic accountant on Wednesday. I walked in with a binder thicker than his. He looked at my timeline. My spreadsheets. My screenshots. He smiled. This is the cleanest paper trail I've ever seen. On your side. It took him 4 days to build the report. 40 pages. Every transfer. Every loss. Every lie. The family attorney reviewed it that Sunday night. We file first. Tomorrow morning. Emergency motion to freeze all accounts and void the Post-nup as fraudulently procured. I didn't tell my husband. I didn't sign his agreement. I didn't argue. Monday morning, 8 a.m., I filed for divorce. Exhibit A, forensic financial analysis. Exhibit B, Brooke's sworn statement. Exhibit C, the forged therapist letter, with a copy of the complaint I'd filed with the state medical board. He was served at his office at 10:30. right before his team meeting. The emergency hearing was set for Thursday. I spent those 3 days in silence. No calls, no texts, no contact. He tried. 12 voicemails, apologies, confusion, anger, threats. I saved everyone. Because I wasn't emotional. I was surgical, and he was about to find out exactly who he'd been underestimating. The courtroom was small. Fluorescent lights, plastic chairs, nothing glamorous. But it was mine. The judge entered at 9. She reviewed the forensic report in chambers for 20 minutes. When she took the bench, her face was unreadable. My attorney stood. Your Honor, we're seeking an emergency freeze on all marital accounts and a declaration that the post-nuptial agreement is void due to fraud and coercion. She nodded. Proceed. First exhibit. Summit Consulting, LLC. The transfers lit up the screen. $183,000 moved from the joint marital account to a shell company registered in the respondent's name only. No business activity. No invoices. No legitimate purpose. The judge leaned forward. Second exhibit. The brokerage account. The LLC funds were funneled here. Day trading losses over 2 years. Total $140,283. The petitioner had no knowledge and no access. His attorney shifted in his seat. Third exhibit. Brooke appeared on the Zoom screen. Calm. Clear. Devastating. She walked through the payments. The promises. The lease he co-signed with marital funds. He told me she was mentally unstable, that she couldn't manage money, that he had to protect himself from her. The judge's jaw tightened. His attorney tried to recover. Your Honor, we have a letter from my client's wife's therapist documenting concerning behavior. My attorney cut in. Your Honor, we've submitted the preliminary finding from the State Medical Board. That therapist does not exist. No license, no practice. The letter is fabricated. The court officer read the board's letter aloud. The room went silent. The judge looked at my husband. Sir, do you have anything to say? He opened his mouth, closed it, shook his head. She didn't hesitate. I'm granting the emergency freeze on all accounts. The post-nuptial agreement is void. Petitioner is granted sole access to marital funds pending final hearing. We'll reconvene in 30 days. One strike of the gavel. He walked out without looking at me. I walked out in silence, got in my car, and let myself breathe. The divorce settled 4 months later. I received 70% of the liquid assets. The house. My retirement accounts untouched. He kept his 401k and the debt from his trading account. No alimony, no drama. Just the legal consequences of his choices. He moved to a rental across town. Lost 2 corporate clients when the forensic report became part of the public court record. I didn't gloat. I didn't post. I didn't tell our friends the details. I set boundaries. I rebuilt. I moved on. Brooke texted me 6 weeks after the hearing. I'm in therapy. I'm fixing my credit. Thank you for not hating me. I wrote back. You were lied to, too. I hope you find your footing. She's finishing her MBA now. We're not friends, but I'm glad she got out. 3 months after the settlement, I started something new. A financial literacy workshop. Free. Every second Thursday. At the community center 2 blocks from my house. It's for women leaving controlling relationships. Women who were told they couldn't handle money. Women who need to see their credit report for the first time in years. 8 women came to the first session. 15 to the second. Last month we had 32. I teach them how to open a separate account. How to read a credit report. How to track spending without shame. I don't tell them my story unless they ask. But they see my CPA license on the wall next to a photo from our first workshop. Both matter. I framed something else too. The final court order. Not as a trophy. As a reminder, being emotional didn't make me weak. It made me human, and humans keep receipts. My ex-husband underestimated me because I cried when my mother was sick, because I cared about people more than spreadsheets. But caring didn't mean I couldn't count. It just meant I knew what the numbers were for. So here's my question for you. Have you ever been told you're too emotional to handle something you were actually an expert in? Drop your story in the comments, or drop your win. I want to hear it. And if this story resonated, hit that subscribe button. I've got more receipts where these came from. Oh, and Brooke? She sent me a photo last month. Her MBA diploma. Turns out we both learned the same lesson. Never let someone else write your story. One last thing. This story is a fictionalized dramatization for educational and entertainment purposes. It is not legal, financial, or therapeutic advice. If you're experiencing financial abuse, please reach out to a licensed professional or local resources. You deserve support. Thank you for watching. I'll see you in the next one.